Now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this fabulous planet of ours. Diana, it's good to see you again. Welcome aboard. This is Ken Krell. I am your delighted host today. Before we start the formalities of this party, I want to make sure you guys can hear me okay. So, if you would pop in the chat and say hello and tell me where you are coming in from today. Everyone says calling when we're on webinars. We're not exactly calling. We're like on an online event. So I wonder what that's all about. But anyway, let me know you're here and you can hear me, which would be really helpful. Otherwise, I know I'm talking to myself. There we go. Dr. Beal is in from Rochester. I thought you were back in Florida, Tom. Gary Sanford in San Antonio, Texas. South Dakota, represented by Jeff Van Dusen. Yay. I have my Australians here. Tasha's here. Doug is in from LA. Yep, there she is. From the Gold Coast. Excellent. Excellent. So we have people from all over the world, as always. Alan asked me, so where's your group from? And I'm like, well, they're worldwide. We cover the planet, which is really exciting. So Daryl is in from Honolulu. Darylyn, sorry. Linda is in from the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. Yay. Jim is in from Florida. Congratulations. And let's see. Okay, well, good. You guys can hear me. That's great. So, as I stall for a couple seconds to let some of the latecomers come in and reward you guys for being here on time, I want to remind you that this time is, especially today, is time that you need to focus on for you. So, if you got your cell phones in a non-quiet or vibrate position, I would urge you to turn them into that vibrate, silent, do not disturb me position, because what you're about to hear is going to be remarkable for you. And if there's anything on your desk or whatever, wherever you are, that could be a distraction, get rid of it, because at the moment, really nothing should matter more than what you're doing at the moment. If you're in a room where there's kids around, bring them on, because this is going to help them as well. If I had some of the financial knowledge when I was a kid that I learned later on in life, it would have made a big change for me. So I'll encourage you to share that with others. This is really a family oriented thing today. We're talking about foundations for your future, and it's so important. It's not necessarily a sexy topic, although for me, money has always been a sexy topic. So you guys are in for a huge treat. Our I hate to use the word presenter. My guest this special day is coming to us from the great land of Hawaii. This is, I think, our first Hawaii workshop, Alan. So you're a lot of no pressure, but you were representing the state of Hawaii today. So just no pressure at all,
No pressure.
none whatsoever. um, but I tell you, I was having a conversation with a mutual friend of ours, Tom Beal, and I said, Tom, my guys are I talked about the pillars of our totalpreneurship methodology, which is getting new clients, or the ultimate client. Number two is creating the lifetime client value and turn them into raving evangelists, which is really important, because if you have raving evangelists, you don't have to work so hard to get new clients. Third is operation systems and procedures for sanity. Fourth is winning the inner game and creating your inner power. And the fifth one is foundational, which is creating a lifestyle of awesomeness, which includes vibrant health, it includes service to the community, includes great relationships and family, and it includes a firm financial foundation. So what's interesting is, in the conversation with Tom, we covered two of those pillars right off the top. Tom is a raving evangelist, flew out to Hawaii and spent a lot of time with Alan and his team, and is a big team, which you'll hear about in a few minutes. And also, we're talking about, so not just creating raving evangelists, but also your firm financial foundation, which is part of creating a lifestyle of awesomeness. So I am thrilled today to fulfill two of those pillars with one gentleman coming to us from the great state of Hawaii. Are you ready, Alan?
I am ready.
Okay, well then, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm and virtual Institute for Financial Total. Listen, I'm doing financial. Looking at your screen here, Institute for Totalpreneurship virtual clap for Professor Alan Akina. Woohoo!
Yay! All right. love the virtual introduction. And first off, everyone, I just want to say aloha and welcome to our Experiencing Financial Peace of Mind web workshop today. Thank you, Ken, for allowing me to do what I love. I love teaching people about how to better their financial lives. This is something I've been passionate about for a very, very long time. So let me just first off introduce myself. And the way we do it in Hawaii is it's with the word aloha. So aloha, everyone. This is me. This is me in the flesh here. So welcome to the webinar today. I come from a beautiful place. I live on the north shore of the island of Oahu in Hawaii. This is the main island. This is where 80% of the population lives, but I live about an hour or so away from Honolulu. This is my family, my wife Leanne, and my 5 kids, and we live near the beach. It's been a great opportunity. But you know, for me, the reason why I started teaching people about money and why I ultimately started the financial education company is because I grew up with this passion. I grew up in the islands, but although it's a beautiful place, I came from a lower income family. You see, I was always on the free lunch program. So if you're not in the U.S., if your parents make below a certain income level, you can qualify for free lunch, and that's what I was on, and had that from the time I started kindergarten until I graduated. Now, when I got into the 4th grade, things got better for me because not only did I get free lunch, but I got free breakfast as well. So I was eating good, but that made my parents were actually doing worse financially. And all those tough financial times really, really got me motivated to find out. Here's what I wanted to know. This question rang in my head over and over and over again. Is there a better way? Am I missing something? What do people know that I don't know about money? There's got to be a better way. Those were the things that I was thinking, and it drove me to really find out. And today on this webinar, I'm going to reveal to you the 3 money secrets that I found through my research and my years of studying and being involved in personal finance. I want to give that to you today. Also, at the end of this web workshop, I'm going to give you a free gift. This is a very valuable gift that's going to be worth $250 to you that will help you to see exactly where you are today financially, but more importantly, can show you where you can go. Now let's jump into it and get started. Before I get into the meat of everything that we do, I just want to clear the air and tell you what we're not. A lot of people have some preconceived ideas of what my company is. But I'll just tell you, we're not a mortgage company, so we don't do loans. We're not a biweekly payment program. We're not a credit counseling service that you may have seen on late night TV. And we're definitely not a bank. And this is not a network marketing or multi-level marketing opportunity where you come here to learn how to make money. What we do is we teach people how to do more with the money that they have. And we also aren't stockbrokers, so we're not going to give you the stock tip of the week or tell you how to manage your 401k. Here's who we are. We are a financial education school for adults. We've been doing this since 2002. We're based in Hawaii. We have over 300 instructors, and we have 10,000 students across the state of Hawaii and into the U.S. Remember the Better Business Bureau, and also an Inc. 500 company. Over the years, we've won many awards and been recognized here in Hawaii from the Better Business Bureau. We got their Ethics Award. Pacific Business News, we've been featured there in their Hawaii's Fastest 50. You see the little sign there? We were on that list 4 years back to back. Bank of Hawaii, the second largest bank in the state, gave us the Community Leader of the Year Award in 2007. And then at the bottom, we were featured in Inc. 500. Inc. 500, Inc. Magazine's top 500 fastest growing companies across the nation. So you may have heard of Fortune 500. Well, Inc. 500 is the same, but for privately held businesses. So even though we come from a small state, we've done some huge things. We've also been featured in all the different publications in the state of Hawaii, all the different magazines and newspapers. And then if you look us up, I encourage a lot of our potential students to look us up on our Better Business Bureau review site here, and very easy to find. You can just type in 11 Financial on the Better Business website in Hawaii, and you'll see that we've maintained an A+ rating for a very, very long time with 0 complaints, and we've been accredited with them since 2004. So I just want to give you some peace of mind that you're working with and you're hearing from some credible incredible people and getting some really good information. Now, here's
You know,
another picture of me.
Alan, I want to jump in for a second. Nobody
Go ahead.
ever does an intro showing Better Business Bureau stuff with phone numbers, with addresses. I mean, usually people are very anonymous, and I'm telling you, I would never even give my phone number because I don't want people calling me. You know, you're right out there. You're right up front. You want the communication. You know, that says a lot. It really says a lot. So I want to acknowledge that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we have nothing to hide. The industry that we're in money, when you're helping people in personal finance, this industry has some really great companies, but there's also some really bad companies, and we just want to separate ourselves from those companies and really be upfront, transparent. So we put everything out there, and it really shows in our rating with the Better Business Bureau. Now going on, sorry guys, I'm not the best looking guy out there, but I do the financial fitness reports for Fox News in Hawaii. It's called KHON Channel 2 Morning News. So every Monday and Wednesday, if you do happen to visit us in Hawaii, you can see my financial fitness reports early around 5:30 a.m. If you want later on, not now, but later on today, if you just go on YouTube or Google Alan Akina TV, there's a bunch of my money saving tips and different things that I do with the news station. Okay.
Hey, Alan, just before we start again, Nancy's telling me that you're not coming through as loud, and you're not coming through as loud as I hope you could. If you can get closer to your mic, maybe that'll help us a little bit.
Okay. How's that? Is that better?
A little bit.
Let me take you.
A little bit. Yeah, you're.
Is this better?
Not much different that I can say. Nancy, any better for you? Just want to make sure everybody catches every word. They don't have to work so hard to hear you.
Yeah, sorry, Nancy. We're going through Coconut Wireless.
Yeah,
and,
you're the same Winnipeg. Okay, so guys, I'm listening to Alan on a headset. So Gary says it's fine. Paul says a little bit better, and Carmen says it's perfect. So okay, let's rock on. Didn't want to disrupt everything,
perfect.
but I want to make sure everyone was good. Okay.
Sorry, I took you off the speaker, so now I picked it up. So hopefully this will be a little clearer.
Perfect.
Now, one of the things I'm very proud of is my book. I wrote a book, first time ever. Never attempted to write a book, but I just felt like I had something in me that I needed to share with the world. And so I wrote my book, and it's called The Super Duper Simple Book on Money. And here's the interesting thing. I launched it on Amazon May 1st, 2012. And within 24 hours, the book went from nothing. I was a nobody in publishing to become a number one bestseller in 2 personal finance categories. And we beat some great authors like Susie Orman and David Bach, Robert Kiyosaki, some of these great people. And my book was able to really surpass them. So it was kind of an exciting day. Now, if you would like to get a free copy of this book, here's how you can do it. You go to my book site, and again, do this later after the webinar so we don't miss any of the notes that you can take from this class here. But go to alanakina.com, all one word. That's my book website. Now, you'll see 2 buttons when you go there. You can download the free version, the PDF, which is the same book, or download the Kindle version, which you have to pay a few bucks for. Now, interesting thing, I'll just tell you, for those of you that are in business and ever think about writing a book. Now, a lot of my friends, my business friends, said, "Hey, Alan, give away 1 chapter of your book for free. People will read it, and they'll want to buy the rest of the book." I thought that's a great idea. But for some reason, I just felt like I needed to go with my gut, which was to give it away for free, where the world needed to be able to have this book and this information. And so I did. I put it up there for free, right next to the paid version, same book. And even with those 2 choices, the free and the paid version, the book still hit number 1, and we couldn't figure it out how. I mean, it just was pretty phenomenal. So get your copy. It covers the 5 money principles that everyone needs to know. My only request, though, is if you take the free book, is that you share it with at least 1 other person. Okay? Hopefully that's a good deal for you. Now, let me jump into what we do. We do three things, and we do them very well. Number one, we provide personalized financial literacy classes for all of our students. What that means is we work with individuals with their numbers. So we're not teaching out of a textbook. We're working with income, expenses, and liabilities that are directly related to your life. These are your numbers. Can't get any more personalized than that. We also have one of our certified instructors handle all of our classes. Okay, so it becomes very personal, and our classes are done via private webinars, not like this where it's a big group, but just you and your family on your computer on one end, and my certified instructors on the other, doing these financial classes. And while we're doing these classes, we're also building a custom financial plan. Now, let's say 95% of the people that come to see us, their number one goal, their number one objective is to get out of debt. And so that's where most of our plans are built, to help people to get out of debt. On top of this, all of our classes are based on what we call the 4 fundamentals of personal finance. Now, here's the thing. If you don't know the 4 fundamentals of personal finance, never had the opportunity to learn that as a high school or college student, there's a 95% chance that by the time you reach retirement age, you'll still be broke, you'll still be financially stressed out, and you'll still be paying on some debt. And that's not a way to retire. That's no way to live. But understanding, like what Ken said, the foundation and how to build the proper, solid financial foundation, which comes on these things: better budgeting, credit building, smart banking, and debt elimination. And you notice I didn't say anything about, investing in stocks and, flipping houses to make millions. Those are all great things. But those things can come later after you build a solid foundation. I hope that makes sense. Now, all of our classes are private and personalized and taught by certified instructors that are certified by me and my company, and in person if you live in Hawaii, or via webcast, and we go along at your pace. Now, who can we help? Well, we've helped out a variety of different situations, from recent college graduates to newlyweds, first-time homeowners, to those that are retired or getting ready to retire that still have some debt and want to get financial peace of mind. But I would say 60%, our biggest group of students, are working families that have debt. That would be our biggest group that we've been working with. Our goal and our mission is to bring financial peace of mind to everyone. Everyone. We want to do that, but through the power of education. Okay, you see, a lot of us never got the financial classes and financial literacy that we should have in high school. We just somehow were left out, and we missed out on that. But it's so important in our lives. We realize another thing that we do over the years is we've been saving families. That's what we do. And people say, well, Alan, how can you save families? Well, we save families from this, which is a huge problem. I know in the U.S., this is an enormous problem where 1 out of just over every 2 marriages end up in a divorce. But how many of you know what the number 1 cause of divorce is? I'm sure you probably do, and it's this.
It's marriage.
Money problem. It's marriage itself, right? But money is the culprit. Money problems is the culprit of the majority of the divorces that take place. And here's one reason why, is because every night at 10 o'clock, you look like this dude sitting at your kitchen table trying to handle your bills instead of snuggling up to your honey on the couch, watching the news or a movie. And when we're stressed out like this, we're worrying about paying our bills and our credit cards and our mortgages, it brings strain on our relationships. But the other thing, too, is if you have children, the kids can feel that stress. They can sense it. They can see it in our faces. And, through my research, and you're probably familiar with this, the number 1 source of financial literacy for kids comes from not our schools, but from us as parents. And the kids learn from us in 2 ways. Through our example, which is, hey, how do we shop? Do we have a list? Do Do we use coupons? Do we buy things on sale? Or do we just go and swipe our credit card and get whatever we want, not ever teaching them anything or sharing with them anything? How are we teaching our kids and setting them up for the future? And this is a tough thing, because who's going to put a stop to what I call the most deadly disease that's out there that no one really talks about? And it's this. It's a debt disease. I don't know if you ever heard of that, or heard of, you probably heard of Angry Birds. Well, now there's angry babies, because these kids now are getting the bill and not the will when we move on. And we don't want to be passing on the debt disease to our kids. Okay, so I hope you had a little laugh, but also know that this money management thing is very, very serious. I also know that a lot of it's not your fault. Some of it is, but a lot of it isn't, because you were never taught. We were never taught. There's a serious lack of financial education in America, and I'm sure it's like that across the world, wherever you're logging in from. That financial literacy is nil. There's nothing out there. Now, I'm not sure if you know this guy here. His name's Ben Bernanke. He's the former chairman of the Federal Reserve here in the U.S. He just had stepped down about a month and a half ago. Very, very important man in American money. And this is what he said last year in April. He said, among the lessons of the recent financial crisis is the need for virtually everyone, both young and old, to acquire basic knowledge of finance and economics. Such knowledge is necessary for anyone who will be faced with, listen to this, managing a household budget, making financial investments, finding reliable information about buying a car or house, and preparing financially for retirement and other life goals. Question: how many of you are going to do one or all of the things that he mentioned here over our lifetime? And what about your kids? Very important to know this stuff. But now, this isn't just a problem with the middle class and the upper middle class. I know a lot of you are doing very well financially. You're very astute financially. But there's some things that were just hidden from us in the financial world. That is why it's so important for you to understand our 3 money secrets that I'm going to share with you later on. Because this problem also comes from the top. Now, this is Michelle Obama speaking during the 2008 presidential campaign. I was watching C-SPAN, and I started campaigning. This was in Minnesota. And this is what she said. She said, "Did you know that Barack and I just paid off our student loan? Imagine a president of the United States that just paid down his student debt." She went on to say that at one point, their monthly payment was higher than any other payment that they had, and the only way they're able to get out of debt is because President Obama wrote 2 best-selling books, and they used the money from that to pay off their debt. Now, if it's a problem for the upper echelon, what about the rest of us? How much of a chance do we have to see some financial success? The other thing we know is that it doesn't matter how much money you make, and these guys prove it to us. These professional players from the NFL and NBA and Major League Baseball, Sports Illustrated did a special report on them a few years ago. This is what they found. After 2 years of retirement, 78% of former NFL players are bankrupt. And now, basketball players, they'll last a few more years before they're broke. They'll last 5 years. But why is that? Well, these guys have made so much money in such a short period of time, but they're going broke. You probably know the answer. It's because they don't know. They don't understand money. Now, a lot of you may know this report as well. This is the earning potential for the education that you receive. And this is a study done by Georgetown University. And this is what they said. Someone with a high school diploma can expect to earn $1.3 million over their lifetime. An associate's degree, $1.7 million. And someone with a bachelor's degree can expect to earn $2.3 million. And a master's degree can get you $2.7 million over your lifetime. So obviously, as you can see here, the more educated we are, the more potential income we can earn over our lifetime. So it's critical to understand that educating ourselves is key. But the same holds true, folks, for those that are financially educated or not. those that are financially educated will save much, much more than those who are not, even those with a college degree. Let me make my point here. We all know those that have masters, or we got doctors and lawyers that are friends of ours that we know, and they're very good at what they do, but most of them are not good at money. You see, they're masters in mathematics or in or being a lawyer or a doctor, but they're not masters in money. And so even if you don't have one of those degrees, you can still save much more. And you know the saying, right? It's about how much you keep and not what you make. Very, very true here. Now, this fishbowl, I think, will help sum up this little section here. Now, let me ask you this question, folks. Will this goldfish ever outgrow its bowl, its tank? No, it won't. The fish will always stay proportionate to the size of its surrounding, okay? So, this relates specifically to our financial success. See, the goldfish is representing your financial success. Your financial success will never outgrow your financial knowledge or financial education. It'll always stay proportionate to what you know. So even if you have the good fortune of making more somehow through a lottery or even like all these professional players have made more than what they were used to making and they're wired for, it'll all be a wash. It'll all just go away because our tank is small. So the way you change that, folks, is to increase the size of your fish bowl, your fish tank. Go from a 10-gallon tank to a 55-gallon tank or more. Get a huge tank, and the only way to do that is to educate yourself and to learn. I hope that makes sense. Now, let's move on, because I want to test your financial IQ. If you have a mortgage, I'm just curious if you know what it means. Have you ever looked it up and discovered what mortgage means? Well, I did. I looked it up for you. I went to dictionary.com, and this is what I found. Mortgage means death pledge. See the word mort? The first part, mort means dead, like in the word mortuary or mortician, and gage is a pledge. So congratulations, folks. We all have death pledges. Yay! Now, here's why they call it a death pledge. So this word here, it's called amortization. You may or may not be familiar with it, but what it is basically is the way the banks calculate the repayment of your death pledge. So let's say you bought a house, $250,000, finance it for 30 years, standard mortgage length. After making your payments for 30 years, look at how much you would end up paying that bottom right-hand corner. Almost $600,000, folks, for the $250,000 house. Where did the rest of the money go? $350,000 of our hard-earned money went to the bank in the form of interest. Now, here's what interest means. Interest means bank's profit. Now, this is a crazy, crazy thing. We paid more interest than we did for the house. Now, I don't know where you live, but it's very difficult to find a house in Hawaii for $250,000. It's more like $500,000 or $600,000, and so you can see the numbers as they start to grow. The interest gets pretty ridiculous. Now, how many of you have 1, 2, 3, or more of these credit cards? Here's a couple examples. If you have $2,000 on your credit card right now, and you just made the minimum payment, which 60% of people make the minimum payment each month, it would take you 18 years to pay off, and an additional $2,600 in interest. A $10,000 balance on your card would take longer than your death pledge, 31.8 years, and cost an additional $14,600 in interest. Now, folks, this is assuming that we just paid it off and never charge on it again. If we start charging on it again, then you know what? We get back into that same old cycle and just keep going. Now, I could go on all day talking about auto loans and payday loans and student. Don't get me going on student loans. This is crazy. Personal loans, home making loans, and many, many more. But we all know at the end of the day, that our money feels like it's just going down the toilet, doesn't it? Don't we feel like that? Our hard-earned money just goes down the toilet and there's no hope and so much stress, and we're wondering, how do we get ahead? Well, let me show you the the 5 most common solutions that people will use to help them with their financial problems. Okay, so the first on the left here is credit counseling. Okay, a lot of people use credit counseling. Millions of people use credit counseling. Now, let me tell you 3 reasons why I absolutely despise credit counseling for 99% of people. Number one, when you sign a contract with them, you end up paying them a monthly fee. They take a percentage of that off the top, and they're supposed to take the remaining and pay it to your creditors, typically your credit card companies. But in their negotiation tactics, they hold those payments back. So when you're not making payments on your debt, guess what the creditors are doing? They're reporting that to the credit bureau. So now your credit goes down the tube. Second reason I don't like it is because it looks like, on your report, that you're one step before bankruptcy. And then the third biggest reason why I don't like credit counseling is because we don't learn a thing by using them. The reason we got into the financial mess and the problems that had, got us to go to a credit counseling service has not been addressed. They haven't. We haven't fixed the problem. We just put a Band-Aid on this thing. And how do I know? Because after my company hit Inc. 500, I got calls from tons of companies all over the country, from Silicon Valley to Boston and New York and everywhere in between. And I even talked to some credit counseling companies that thought we'd be a good partner. But after I explained to them what we did for people and how we really helped them, they said, no, I don't think this will be a good fit. I'm like, why not? This would be great. So, well, we want our customers to come back every 3 years. We help them to get out of debt, and they get right back into the same situation 3 years later. No good. Second solution, bankruptcy. I don't like them for 3 reasons as well. First, your credit is to extend your credit report for 7 to 10 years. Second thing is you try to build your financial life up again. You're starting behind the 8 ball with paying, for a car loan in the high double-digit interest rates. And same if you can even qualify for a mortgage, your interest rates are super high. You just dig a deeper hole. And number 3, third reason, same as credit counseling. We don't learn a thing with bankruptcy. The reason we got to where we have to file bankruptcy has not been addressed. Now here's where it gets a little better. People start using biweekly, and that's good, where you split your mortgage payment in half and pay it every 2 weeks. You typically save 6 years off of your mortgage, your debt, and it's a pretty good thing, but it's a little slow. And then the fourth thing is people tell me, well, I pay more, and I add a little extra to my payment each month, and really, folks, at the end of the day, all it helps out is a little extra. A little bit more you pay towards it just helps out a little bit more. So not that bad. But here's the fifth. The fifth, and this is the most common solution for people all across the world when it comes to managing your money. Please, please help me. Win the jackpot, the lottery, and make my financial stress go away. Do not do this, folks. This does not work. Okay, we won't go there. But here's what works. Business Week talks about it. Everybody's talking about it. Very few people are doing anything about it. It's financial education, financial literacy. There's several articles from from Business Week, and one of them I like at the bottom here. It says the title, "What Works in Financial Education? Financial literacy today is as important as learning to read and write." How many of you agree with that? And this is key stuff, folks, and it really needs to be part of our lives, and like Ken said, having that overall balance so we can enjoy a better life and being able to do things with our families and such. Now, I'll show you some of the results of our students that have taken our courses and are now financially literate. 60% of the people that come to us have a mortgage and some consumer debt, a couple credit cards, car loans, things like that. They're able to save over $250,000 initially, and over their lifetime, right around $400,000 to $500,000 in interest costs, and over 20 years of monthly payments. The other 40% just have consumer debt. credit cards, student loans, personal loans, auto loans, they're going to save initially $10,000 or more in interest, and over their lifetime, $300,000 or $400,000 in interest, and over 10 years of payments in the get-go. And all of this, folks, these results have been generated through taking courses that total around 10 to 20 hours of coursework. 10 to 20 hours, not 10 to 20 weeks or 10 to 20 semesters getting a college degree, but 10 to 20 hours of focused private classwork that really changed their lives. And the money here that you're saying, the $250,000, $10,000, that's just a small part of it. The bigger part of the benefits is the peace of mind that comes from having your financial life under control and being able to see it and manage it and be in charge of it. Okay, so hope this makes sense for you. Now I want to get into what I promised you at the beginning, which is the 3 money secrets that you need to know that will help you to live a life of financial peace of mind. And here's the 3 secrets. Number 1, got to look at your money in the form of a pie. So I call this the money pie secret. Number 2, good money versus bad money. There is such a thing. And number 3, conventional banking versus smart banking. And after you see these 3 secrets, it'll start to really come together, and you'll start to see some hope in your life. Now first, money pie. What I want you to do is pretend that your paychecks or your income from your business goes directly into this pie, and you stuff all your money each month into this pie. Now, how do you slice your pie each month? How do you slice up your hard-earned money, and who gets the biggest piece? Well, what I found over the last 11 and a half years is that half of our pie is going to cover our mortgage or rent. Now, if we're doing good, quote unquote, in today's economy, here's what good looks like. Half of our pie is going to cover all of our debt and our mortgage or rent. So credit cards and student loans and car loans and the mortgage or rent, which now leaves us in a very difficult situation, which is we have to live on half a pie. How do you live on half a pie anymore in this economy when we got all these things to pay for? Our food and our utilities, our gas. You got kids. I got 5 kids, and I don't know how maybe you have an expensive spouse, or maybe you're the expensive spouse. I don't know. Medical costs, cable, internet, tithing, donation, and the list goes on and on and on. But I ask you folks, what's left over for this? I call this piggy bank, the happily ever after account, the retirement, the second home, the travel. How do we build this up when money's going out right and left and up and down everywhere? And then some of us even have to dip into this happily ever after account to pull money out to pay for living expenses. This is no way to go, folks. But what I want you to do right now is I want you to look at this pie through my eyes. I want you to look at this pie through my instructor's eyes, because here's what we see. We see things in color. And we see on the debt side there's 2 pieces. There's the principal and the interest. Okay? Now principal is what we're the remaining balance, and we can't get you out of that. Whatever you borrowed, you just got to pay that back. We feel that's just the right thing, the ethical thing to do. So we don't get in negotiating debt down. But what we've discovered, folks, for the interest is that there is no law that says you have to pay back every dime in scheduled interest. Okay, when we get a mortgage, they give us an amortization schedule, payment schedule. When we buy a new car, they give us a payment schedule for that. So they put us on these schedules, these banks, because they know we'll follow these schedules. We're humans. We're going to follow it. And those schedules are built to maximize their interest returns. But what we found and discovered is that with a few tweaks of how you manage your money and how you bank, you could cut 50% or more off of every loan that you have as far as the interest is concerned. Okay, so I'm not talking about the interest rate and negotiating and trying to get your rate down. I'm talking about the true cost of the loan, from the credit cards to the car loans to the big fat mortgage, and every loan in between, being able to cut 50% off of the interest cost. Now, folks, ask yourself this: how would your life be right now if you could keep 50% of the money that was going to these bankers? And what would you do with that? Would you spend it and go shopping and travel and come visit me in Hawaii and take a trip? I'm sure you could, and I'm not opposed to that. People say, well, Alan, he's a budget guy. He's not gonna let me spend my money. No, no, no. You gotta have fun and enjoy life. But here's what I do say: we have to fight fire with fire. We have to fight fire with fire. What that means is, we want to take some of that money that was going to the bank, their money, and we're going to take some of the savings in blue and dump it into the P, into the principal. We're going to dump some of the saved money and put it into the principal. And what that does, folks, is it now starts to slice off more of the interest costs. At the end of the day, our ultimate goal is to be debt-free, so we can build wealth and enjoy more time with our family. I mean, you do this mentally. Add up all the monthly payments that you make on your cars, your credit cards, your personal loans, your business loans, your mortgage, your debt pledge, right? And come up with a monthly total. In most cases, it's going to be $2,000 or $3,000 in some, or even more. Think about this: if you were debt free, that $2,000 or $3,000 now stays in your pocket, and you can use that to grow wealth and enjoy your family. And I can tell you this: that our students, when they pay off their debt, here's our batting averages. A 30-year mortgage with us lasts 7 or 8 years. They're able to pay it off. A 5-year car loan, they're paying it off in a year to year and a half. And a credit card they've had for a decade, they're paying it off in 2 to 4 months. It's phenomenal when you understand the money game. Okay, so that's money secret number 1. I want to go into money secret number 2. It's called good money versus bad money. And again, there is such a thing. And later on, when we give you the free gift, that $250 value gift, you'll be able to see your own situation and be able to make evaluations on it as to where you are. So hang tight with us on that. Now, good money represents accounts that we earn interest on at the bank. So you'll see a checking, savings, and a retirement plan. As you know, as you can see, was very generous with these numbers because, we don't really make anything on our checking accounts, do we? Free checking is free checking. Savings, nowhere near 2% anymore. But I just sort of put that up there just in case there's any bankers on this webinar today. And then 6% for your retirement is a very, very fair number. So if you add up the good money numbers, you'll see that our average good money account will yield us 3% per year. So we make 3% a year on our good money. Now, simple to the bad money side. Bad money represents accounts that we pay interest on, so credit cards, and mortgages. And you'll see some national averages here. And you'll see that our bad money is costing us 10%. So what's wrong with this, folks? Make 3, pay 10. Make 3, pay 10. Ask yourself this: how many of you have a checking account? I wish I could see your hands go up. Or a savings account and a retirement plan or 401k at work. If you do, congratulate yourself, tap yourself on the back. Now, how many of you have a credit card or 2, car loan, and a mortgage or a debt pledge or paying rent? If you have these things, then guess what, folks? You're losing money, you're going backwards. I mean, this is what we call a spread, a negative 7% in this example, and the spread is the bank's profit. And that's how one of the ways they make money. Now, when we look at this picture, you know what I see? This is what I see. I see Las Vegas. And the reason I see Las Vegas is because I understand, and you probably know this as well, that the golden rule in Vegas is that the house always wins. The house always wins. Now, folks, the bank is the house. The bank is the house. They're just like a casino. The casinos have their games, they have their slot machines and their crap tables and their roulette, and the banks have their checking accounts and their mortgages and their credit cards. All these accounts are making their money just like the casinos make money on their games. Now, a rich man, very, very wealthy man, this guy's name is Warren Buffett if you didn't know him, and he said you can't make progress in your financial life borrowing money at 18 to 20%. And what he was meaning by this is that can't beat the bank, which means the banks will never pay us more in interest than we are paying them. Think about that. If they're paying us more in interest than we pay them, they would go bankrupt. Get it? They would go bankrupt, and they're not going to do that. So if you can't beat them, then what? Let's join them. Let's play their game. And when I mean join them, I'm not talking about going to work for them, but what I'm referring to is playing their game. And so my last example, and if you step through everything I said today, this is where you're going to want to wake up to. This will all start to make sense, and you're going to learn some things. You're going to see some things that you never thought would be possible. Okay, so let me go through my first example, conventional banking. And in my conventional banking example, I'm going to assume that you and your household bring home $5,000 a month. Okay, and that income typically will be direct deposit, or you take a check and you put it into your checking account. Well, let me ask you a question, folks. How many of you, when you opened up your checking account at your local bank or credit union, got the lesson on how these checking accounts will work and what happens? Now, I can assume that most of us never got the lesson on how checking accounts work, so let me give you the 60-second lesson on this. But let me ask you a question. How many of you out there across the world have a few bucks in there or thousands of dollars or whatever it is, at least a few dollars in your checking account right now today? I'm sure all of you do. Let me tell you something, folks. Every night when the bank closes, your money is gone. So if you're somewhere where it's late at night now, or the banks are just closing, and you're back on the East Coast, your money is gone, because every night what the bank does is they send in a sweeper. Okay, what they do is they come in and they sweep all of our accounts. They take all of our money out of our checking accounts, and every single night they invest it in a thing called Fed funds. This is here in the U.S. for federal funds. And what are they earning on that, folks? They're earning interest. How much of that interest do we get paid? Nothing. We, our checking accounts, we earn nothing. We saw that already. So guess what? Every night, I'm sure this happens in your country as well, wherever you're logging in from. Every night we're getting robbed by our own banks, and we don't even know it. Very, very sad thing. Okay, so before you go and decide to burn down your local bank, let me just clarify this, okay, with a saying. I want you to remember this, because you're going to need to come back to this in 3 minutes. And here's the saying. It really does matter, folks, where your money sits at night. It really does matter. I'll come back to this in a second now. Just get on with our example. Once your money goes into the checking account, we start paying our bills, writing checks to pay our bills. In this example, I'm going to assume we just have one debt, $100,000 debt, a little easy number, okay? But if you have a debt, you're going to have a monthly what? Monthly payment, okay? So in this example, every month you're going to write a check for $1,000 to the bank that owns your debt. Let's break down the payment now. Month one, send that payment in. $900 goes to interest, and $100 goes back to you in the form of principal reduction. So you'll see your balance go from $100,000 all the way down to $99,900, and it'll stay at $99,900 for the next 30 days or until you make the next payment. Okay, so look at the second month. We send $1,000 in. Okay, so we send $1,000 payment into the bank, and $899 goes to them, to the bankers, and $101 goes to you. Look at your new balance, $99,799 the second month. Third month, $898, $102, and look at your new balance, $99,697. Fourth month, $99,594. Fifth month, $99,490. What's happening, folks? Our balance is going down super, super, super slow. In 5 months, we paid them $5,000, and $4,500 of it went to their profit. I mean, something is obviously wrong here. And what's really happening is we're in this battle against DCI. I'm not sure if you know what DCI is, but here's what it stands for. It stands for daily calculated interest. What this simply means, folks, is every day the banks will charge us interest. When I say every day, I mean holidays and weekends and even on your birthday. They will charge you interest against your outstanding balance or the principal balance. So the question is, the bigger your balance, the more interest the banks make. Is it in the bank's best interest to keep our balance as big as they can for as long as they can? Absolutely it is. Okay, so let's move on and let me show you what we call the smart banking solution. You can do this at probably most of your local credit unions or banks, depending on where you live. And here's what the smart banking solution is. Instead of taking your paycheck, this $5,000 paycheck, and depositing it here in your conventional checking account, we're going to help you to open up a new checking account. I call this a debt checking account. Okay? We're going to open that up at your local bank or credit union. And when you open up this new debt checking account, I'm going to tell you to take your whole paycheck, this whole $5,000, and deposit it into this new debt checking account. Now, what would happen if you took $5,000 and put it into a $100,000 debt today? Well, tonight, when the banks recalculate everything, your balance would drop to $95,000. It would drop by the entire amount of that deposit. So let me ask you a question, folks. Is DCI lower on $95,000 or on $100,000? Well, yeah, it's lower on $95,000. Is DCI lower on $95,000 or $99,900 the conventional way? Well, it's lower, of course. Now that makes sense. It's much lower. So, are you saving money today? Are you saving more money in interest by having your income parked here versus having it sit in a conventional checking account where we absolutely make nothing and it's gone every single night? And in the conventional way, our balance stays at $99,900 for 30 days. Now, the only problem with this, and you might be thinking, is like, Alan, that's great. I know my balance is lower. I sit at $95,000, but I got bills to pay. I got to eat tomorrow. We got gas to put in the car. How do I live? How do I survive? Well, we set this up as a debt what? A debt checking account. So you can write a check and take the money out tomorrow. So let's look at this example. Tomorrow, you go to the grocery store and you buy $400 worth of food. You're going to take this checkbook and write a check for $400 to this grocery store for $400. But now, because we're playing on the banker side, the numbers are going to flip-flop around. And your balance is not going to go down, but it's going to go up. So we took $400 out of this account. So now your balance goes from $95,000 to $95,400. Question: is DCI lower on $95,400 or $99,900? Well, of course, it's lower on $95,400. So you save money 2 days in a row and still were able to eat. You're doing good. Now, let's see how you can still keep the lights on and have hot water. The next day, you have $600 worth of utility bills you got to pay. So write those checks out. You take $600 out of this account, so now your balance goes from $95,400 to $96,000. Question: DCI lower $96,000 than $99,900? Absolutely. In fact, every single day, your balance in this new debt checking is going to be lower than the conventional balance. So every day you're saving money. Remember, folks, remember good money versus bad money? This is the bad money side. We're on the banker side now versus the good money. Okay? So we can now save it. We're not making interest, but we're saving interest, which is the same thing if we have debt. And remember my saying I gave you a few minutes ago? It really does matter where your money sits at night. But here's the thing, folks. You could be doing what you're doing right now and have your money sitting in, and you think you're all safe and secure by having your money sitting in a conventional checking account. Or you could have it in a new debt checking account where the bank can't touch it. They can't come in here and pull your money out every night because it's a debt account. And now it's working for you. Just imagine doing that every month. Every month. Every paycheck you get, you're putting it into your debt checking account. And you see significant savings every single month. This is some cool stuff. Now, we borrowed a concept from the bank on how they make money. Here's how the banks make money. A little bit of interest every day. What we do is we save a little bit of interest every day with the power of our own income. Now, let me show you one other financial tip and secret that we use. I'm going to introduce you to a credit card. Now, I know the word on the street about credit cards is that credit cards are bad and you're supposed to cut up your credit cards, but here's what I say. Use your credit cards, love your credit cards, and understand them. So what we do, go back to the same example, is put our $5,000 again into our debt checking. Our balance goes from $100,000 all the way down to $95,000 for that day. We're saving interest. Next day, we buy $400 worth of food. Instead of writing a check, we now put this food bill on our new credit card from a bank. Okay? What happens immediately upon your swipe at the grocery store for $400? Well, the first thing is this credit card company, this bank paid the grocery store $400. So you got to go home with your food. Second thing that happened is your balance did not go up because your $400 stayed here in your debt checking account. So what we do is every month I put everything on my credit card. Now, what I mean by everything is anything that I would use cash for, a check or debit card, I now put on my credit card. Here's why. Credit cards work like this. They give us a billing cycle. A typical billing cycle on a credit card lasts 30 days. So we can charge up to our available credit limit in that 30-day period. Now, once that 30-day period closes, they send us a statement, a bank statement, a bill. And they send that to us, and it takes 4 or 5 days to get over to us, and it takes us another week or so before we fill it out and send it back, and another 4 days to get to them. That period of time is called a grace period. Typical grace period lasts for 15 to 20 days. So here's what I do. Here's what our students do. Is we take the money from our debt checking account to pay the credit card off in full on day 18 or 19 of the grace period. Now, why would we do that? Here's why. Here's 4 reasons why. Number one, our debt checking balance stays low. It stayed at $95,000 or very close to it. Number two, we paid 0 interest, so we paid it off in full before the interest charge kicked in. Number 3, we earn all the cash back and miles and rewards from all of our charges. And number 4, my favorite, can track my spouse and see what my wife's spending money on, and probably more important, she can see what I'm spending money on. It's called accountability, and it really helps us out in our budget. Okay, so let's recap this. We're going to pay the credit card off in full with the money from our debt checking account. Okay, but what happened to us during that grace period? What did we get? What did we get? We got another paycheck. So we got another $5,000. So we're going to take this $5,000 and dump it right into our new debt checking account. So our balance goes from $95,000 down to $90,000, and it'll stay there for another week or two, right? Because we got the 30-day billing cycle plus another 18 or 19 days of grace period. So we're looking at close to 50 days of our balance being super, super low. Now, is DCI lower on 90,000 versus 99.9? Absolutely. Well, let me show you how powerful this is, because I'm not sure if this is making sense, but let me show you the conventional way, which is what most people are doing across the world. Here's how long it would take you to pay down 100,000 to 95,000, doing it the conventional way. 4 years and 4 months. You know how long it took us the smart way? 1 day. Go from 100,000 to 95,000. Take average people 4 years and 4 months. Smart people, 1 day. To go from 100,000 to 90,000, it would take the average person 7.8 years the conventional route. Took us the smart way, 1 month. 1 month to do that. Now you can do it the slow way and do it the conventional way, which is the way the banks want you to do it so they can maximize their interest returns. Or you can get smart and knowledgeable and do it the smart way. And that is how folks were able to pay off debt in such a short period of time and really gain control over our financial lives. It's an amazing thing, and I hope you've got the concept. I don't expect you to understand everything. These are different. These are going across the grain. This is different than conventional, okay? But it works. It absolutely works with thousands and thousands and thousands of people. Now, what I'm going to suggest tonight is now to get your free gift, okay? It's just to be able to get your free financial analysis. This is where I talked about earlier, you get your $250 gift. This free analysis is like a free financial health checkup. What we'll do in this report, and it'll look similar to this, is we're going to show you a couple of things. We're going to show you the conventional way. So we did a report for Jimmy and Leilani, and we show that Jimmy and Leilani will save $345,000 by taking our course. They'll be debt-free in 10.2 years, okay? So this gray bar, can you see my arrow, Ken, on the screen?
Sorry, I was muted. Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you. So this gray bar is the conventional route. The blue bar is the 101 way, the smart way. You also see your money pie, so you'll see where your money is going, and this is totally detailed. We're going to do a cash flow analysis, give you an overall score. You'll see your total budgets here. And then we'll do a what-if scenario. This cash accumulation detail here. So what we did is we said, okay, what if you're Jimmy and Leilani, we're going to be out of debt in 10.2 years, but took whatever you're using to pay down debt, but now invest it in a vehicle that will earn right here is 2.5%, so very, very conservative. For the remaining time that you would have been in debt conventionally, how much could you actually accumulate in cash is doing it the same way? In this example, Jimmy and Leilani would have saved $498,000 in cash, plus their $345,000 in interest for a grand total of almost $850,000 in savings, or $108 a day. I mean, it's pretty phenomenal. So we want to give you this free report, and we'll walk you through on and Ken and I will help you to get this free report. And there's no obligation. You get it. You can see where you're at. If you like it, great. If you don't, no problem at all. But if you do, here's what I'm going to suggest. Select one of our courses and enroll, and then get your classes scheduled with one of our instructors that will assign to you. Now, let me show you the 3 courses. We have 3 courses that we offer our students, and here they are. The first course is called 99 Financial. This is our beginner's course. 100 Financial is our intermediate course, and then 101 Financial is our advanced course. Let me talk about each one, and then we'll wrap this up. So 99 Financial, it truly does work on your beginning steps. And by the way, let me just point out that all of our courses, 99, 100, and 101, come with a certified instructor that you'll have access to all the time via phone and email and text. Okay? It also comes with a minimum of 3 to 6 classes within each course. And now some of the classes that we'll be covering in 99 Financial is getting your numbers organized and automated. Get some numbers down on paper and get it all organized. Then we want to get your finances automated so we'll never miss or be late on a bill again. Second class is we're going to work on increasing your monthly cash flow. Cash flow is crucial, and getting that up will help you out tremendously. Third thing is we're going to help you to understand and improve your credit, especially if you live in the U.S. This is a must. And now once we get all this done, now we can help you to build a savings plan, okay? And while you're doing this, you're going to be preparing for advanced financial education. The cost for this is a one-time $199 tuition payment. Very affordable, very easy for people to get into and you'll receive tremendous value. Now, our intermediate course covers everything that 199 does, but now we get into the debt elimination strategy. So in the 3 to 6 classes that you'll get with 100 Financial, we'll be doing classes on how to eliminate your credit card debt, how to eliminate personal loan and student loan debt, medical debt, auto loans, okay? We'll also continue to work on your credit score and improving that, and then we teach you how to use the credit card the smart way, like I showed you earlier, okay? We're going to help you to organize your debt and tell you which one to pay off and when. You're going to get a 90-day financial roadmap. Actually, it'll come with both of these courses. Our instructor will build you a 90-day financial roadmap, which you'll be using pretty much on a daily basis. What this 90-day roadmap will show you is every day what's happening in your financial life, what money's coming in and what's going out, what bills need to be paid, when, and how much. It's very detailed and very, very helpful. It'll tell you what debt you should be paying off first and how much you should be applying at each portion of the month, and be very, very clear to you. Okay? The tuition for this is a one-time payment of $1,149. Now, I'll just tell you that most of our students are paying off their debt in a third of the time, and so that you'll save 100 to 1,000 times more than it's going to even cost you in the tuition. So it's not a big deal. Now, finally, 101 Financial. This is our advanced course. It comes with everything I shared with you. Now, this is where we get into the smart banking strategies that I shared with you at the end. Okay, these smart banking strategies, what will happen is you'll have one of our instructors that will guide you through the process of working with your local banks or credit unions, which accounts that you should get and which ones you should not. Now, a lot of people try to go on the banks and try to do things on their own, but the banks are very good at cross-selling you and giving you accounts that you should not be using to help you in your financial life, and that's just what they do. But our instructor will guide you through the banking process and help you to sift through all that stuff. Then we'll help you to build your what we call your all-in-one super account. This is the debt checking account that I talked about. That will be your checking account. It'll be your debt account. It'll be your savings account. It'll be your rainy day fund, and it could turn into your investment account. As you start to pay off debt and get out of debt, you now flip this around, and just like how you paid off debt in a third of the time, you can use it to build wealth in a short period of time. You can do it in a third of the time, what would take most people a longer period of time, by understanding how to use a super account. We'll also start teaching in this course how to pay off your mortgage and keeping up with your credit and really putting you on a solid plan to get out of debt and build a solid foundation. Now, this course costs $3,900. The great thing is, though, folks, is you probably wonder, how can I afford that? $3,900. Well, here's the thing. If you can qualify, if you can qualify for this new debt checking account at your bank or credit union, they're going to give you the money in this new debt checking account that you can use to pay the tuition. It'll be used to cover our tuition costs. So there's not going to be any money out of your pocket to get started with us at the 101 Financial course. It's amazing. We've been able to do that with thousands and thousands of people here in Hawaii at the $39 rate, $3,900 rate, and it did not have to come out of their pocket. And this is what they told me. And they say this all the time. Alan, we didn't even feel it. It worked right into our system, and we were able to do this and that. And I wish I would have some of my students on so you can hear their stories. But you go to our website, you'll see the success that we've had in the most expensive state in our country. I really feel that way, Hawaii. Our cost of living is super high. Mortgages are super high, utilities, gas, everything. But we're doing a bang-up job here. And if we can do that here, I know we can do even much better in areas that are more affordable to live. And you can achieve success even faster. Okay, so let me just wrap this up here, and we'll turn over back to you, Ken. 99 Financial is our beginner's course, and who this course is for those that have bad credit and a negative cash flow. And or, I'll throw this in there, those that aren't really sure about it, but they want to test the water and stick their toe in the water, try us out for $199, that would be the case. 100 Financial is for those that have a positive cash flow, so you make money to spend, but bad credit. And then 101 financial is for those that have good credit and a good work history, usually about 2 years in the same job or industry, so you can get qualified. Now, at the end of the day, for you to have the 101 financial course, you have to send it to the bank, and they're going to pull your credit. We won't. We don't do any of that. Okay, so I'll answer a couple questions here that I get all the time. Hey, Alan, can I skip over 99 and 100 and go right to 101? Absolutely. We have that done all the time. We'll just get you set up and shoot you over to a couple banks or credit unions in your area. That is not a problem. The other question I get is, Alan, can I work my way up? Sure you can. You start at 99 Financial and graduate up to 100 or 101. And if you graduate from 99 within your first 60 days, we're going to apply this entire tuition amount into your next program. Okay? If you go to 100 and you graduate within a year, 12 months, we're going to roll this entire tuition amount over into your 101 tuition. So it's very doable, very simple to get started, and a tremendous amount of upside and a lot of potential for you. So I hope this makes sense. I hope I delivered on my promise to you today to give you a different perspective and a new way of looking at money and some hope for a better financial future and a brighter financial life for you and your families. I really appreciate this. Ken, thanks for having me on. I'll turn it over to you, and if you want, I can answer some questions or anything like that.
Yeah, Alan, the first one is, what's the URL for everybody to get access? People are asking me in the chat, how do we play? So I'm putting it in the chat right now. It's totalpreneur.com/101.
Yes, I think it's the URL is 101financial.com/101. And I don't know if Tom is on.
Yeah, I checked with Tom before we started. It should be totalpreneur.com/101.
Okay.
It should be, and it's in the chat. Normally we show it on the screen, so everyone's like, "Where is it?" So I just put it in the chat for you guys.
I didn't put it up there before I did this, but you want to repeat that again?
Sure.
The URL to go ahead and enroll.
Sure. It's totalpreneur.com/101, and it's in your chat, guys. So you can just click on it. But a lot of you had questions about it. And this is really, Alan's so interested in getting the information to you. He's not giving you the link. It's so funny. Carmen says you're awesome. And I gotta tell you, go ahead.
No, I was saying that was nice of Carmen. That was very nice of you. Thank you, Carmen.
Yeah, well, Carmen's got good observation features. What Alan and I started talking about very briefly before we started today, and what you guys probably don't know, is that years ago when I was a mortgage banker, I mean, what Alan's talking about is for real. I mean, I wanted to jump in when he was talking about credit counseling to say that if you're doing credit counseling, the consumer credit counseling, it's nearly as bad as a bankruptcy, if not as bad as a bankruptcy, in terms of how we look at you as a lender. So it is that bad. Furthermore, the reducing your debt that Alan's talking about is so powerful. I was not able to market that years ago. I created a system. I no longer do it, of course, but to do just what Alan's doing. I wish this was available, then I wouldn't have had to deal with it. Okay, Lori, if you can't see it in the chat because you're on the iPad, it's totalpreneur.com/101. Carmen says that a certified financial planner, and very seldom I find someone that impresses me. This is a solid strategy. Yeah, it's absolutely true. And that's why I endorse it so well, because this is the stuff I've been teaching for years, you guys. Only Alan's put it into a situation that is far more cohesive than what I was doing. And I mean, far more cohesive and up to date for today. I mean, this is I was looking at this many years ago. And what was fascinating for me, Alan, is that I couldn't get anybody to adopt it. I couldn't get people to take it seriously enough to invest in their future. I was blown away. So the fact that you guys are here, and by the way, I want you to understand, we have a giant list. We do not have a giant audience because the most people on the list aren't ready to accept the responsibility that a financial foundation is essential to build your future. And Carmen, the answer to your question is yes. Alan does have an affiliate program, and once you get enrolled, just ask us about it. We'll get you hooked up. or just send a support ticket into us and we'll hook you up. So it's support at totalpreneur.com. Absolutely. Alan, do you want more people to hear about your message?
Absolutely. I mean, this is a passion of mine. I mean, this is a mission to help everyone experience financial peace of mind through the power of getting educated. And like I said earlier, 10 to 20 hours of classwork, it may seem like a lot of work, but at the end of the day, it's not. To really set yourself on a new path, a different path, along with what you're doing. A lot of you are already successful financially, and maybe just have been missing that one little link, that missing link that can really set yourself on fire and take your financial life to a whole nother level. If you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, whatever, you can use these same concepts for your business and your personal life, and it'll really set you apart from anyone else out there.
Yeah, it's the amazing power of compounding for you this time rather than for somebody else. It's the numbers are staggering, and it's math, guys. It's, I mean, you can't argue with the way it plays out. It's just the odds are statistically against us when it comes to getting the mortgage, when it comes to paying the credit cards. I mean, it really is stacked against us, and we can leverage it our own way if you know what you're doing. And frankly, in terms of putting together the discipline and getting it done properly, you really do want a partner who's there for you, especially one that doesn't have an ulterior motive other than serving. That's the bottom line. So I recommend that you jump in and take it a shot. Start at whatever level you're comfortable with, but it's going to be put to great use. Alan has a team of over 200 people in Hawaii that Tom actually met with. My friend Tom met with, and he had an amazing experience with them. Actually, Tom, you're here, aren't you? Yeah, I muted you earlier. Yeah, you're still here. Let me unmute you if you're there. Why don't you share your experience with what happened when you went out to Hawaii?
Yes, Ken, thank you for unmuting me. And Alan, once again, thank you for sharing and doing what you are so good at doing, opening people's eyes to this possibility. And that's exactly what I experienced when I went to Hawaii. And what impressed me most, and that I expressed to you, Ken, was sitting there in awe from these people that Alan had mentioned were working class, regular people living in Hawaii. So we're talking about waiters, waitresses, talking about salespeople, talking about garbage collectors, who have taken these programs, and here they were making average blue collar worker $50,000, $60,000 per year, and they had shared in tears from stage that they had paid off their mortgage in 7 years. They had paid off their car loans in 2 years, and here they were now taking this to the next level and building their wealth. And just seeing all those testimonials from the lives that were positively impacted from this has inspired me to tell my friends about it, and I'm encouraging all my friends and all my family members to listen to this and learn from this, because this changes lives. So I witnessed it firsthand. I heard the testimonials. I was in tears from the testimonials and the amazing things and the amazing results that were coming from Alan and his instructors. So it works, and it is a life-changing situation that does address some of the biggest issues and concerns most families are facing. So I'm thankful to have met Alan, and thankful to be helping share this message with as many people as possible.
Yeah, it's interesting. We all seem to become evangelists, which again is our second quest. We all seem to become evangelists when we find something that really makes sense for us. And I got to tell you, Tom, you don't know Tom Beal yet. A lot of you, and you will soon, because we're doing a bunch of things together. But Tom is one of the people that I look to for counsel in my business, and he's been the intel inside for some of the leading multi-million dollar marketing heroes, if you will, or marketing gurus across the United States, such as Rich Schefren, Mike Filsaime, and others. So when he says something, I listen to him, and I'm delighted I was able to do this today. We've had a lot of great comments. Carmen says here, let's see where to go. For 99.9% of persons, it will never happen on their own. They need the support of a program like this offers. Chantel says, awesome, Alan. Mahalo, Ken, for creating the forum for 101 to be shared beyond the shores of Hawaii. I'm thrilled for that. Alan, question for you from Carmen. Would you be interested in setting up a program in Spanish for the Latino market?
Great question. I do have one of my instructors that is he's Hispanic, and he's done some web workshops for us in Spanish in the past. We do have a small Spanish speaking following here in Hawaii, but of course would absolutely love to do that. Would love to do that. So.
Yeah, Carmen, let's hook it up because that would be a great. It's a phenomenal market, and it's an underserved market. So, and a market that really could use that hand holding and help. So, great idea, and I think we can make something work there. So yeah, just send me a note to support it at we got your phone number here too. I'll pass it along. Fantastic, cool. And Tom, you can see that in the chat too. So we'll get you hooked up. Any other questions, you guys? This has been fun. This has been eye opening for me. I had not heard the concept of the debt checking account. Really cool idea. We had a lot of feedback about that. So this is great. Any other questions, you guys? Okay, everyone's being very quiet. I think they're all taking it in. So, last thing, I'm getting asked again. It's totalpreneur.com/101. Totalpreneur.com/101. And jump in and see what's right for you. But I got to tell you that you will feel so much more powerful in your business and in your life to know that you finally have control of this stuff. I mean, whether you have great credit or bad credit, it doesn't matter. The fact is that all of us have to deal with the cards that really are stacked against us. And I got to tell you, I get emails every day from Simon Black, which is I think a stage name for this guy. It's a real renegade on the financial side of things, talking about the disruption of the financial community and how and all the scams that go all the way down to every level. And frankly, if we don't take control of this, we're a victim, and none of us should be in that case. I mean, a 30-year mortgage should not be paid off in 30 years. To do that is just simply ridiculous, because all you're really doing is paying rent, and you can't count on appreciation to drive you through like you used to be able to do. So the market and the game has changed. So, which is why I'm being so forceful for you guys right now. If you're not taking control, if you're not taking a chance to learn how you can be in charge, better in charge of your business, maybe finally in charge of your personal financial situation, come and give this a shot, and at very least get your evaluation done, because that's going to be a big eye opener for you, I think. So, Alan, any final comments?
I just want to thank you, Ken, for allowing me to do what I love. I love teaching people and sharing this message of financial hope. I've seen it happen. Just like Tom, I live it every single day. I see great people, hardworking middle-income families here in Hawaii trying to survive. This is a tough place to survive. It's beautiful, but it costs a lot. But we're doing some incredible things, and I'm sure that there'd be so much better and easier for people that are in different states and maybe even some other countries. So I would encourage you to get your free financial analysis, select one of those courses, and we'll put our best instructors to work for you. And here's the thing. You're going to come away from your coursework with a new financial perspective, a new direction in your financial life, and you're going to have a new Hawaiian friend, because we're going to spend many hours with you on the phone and on the webinars teaching you and your family, and you'll see that our instructors, these are some really great people that I've hired to come work for me, that are all of them that work for me were handpicked from my student base. They're not salespeople that we've hired, but they all were students that I asked them to come join, not my company, but join my crusade to help people conquer their debt and gain control of their financial lives. And they're so passionate about it, like I am, because it changed their lives. It absolutely did. And so just know that you'll be in good hands working with one of my hand-selected group of instructors, and they'll take great care of you. You'll feel the what we call the aloha spirit, is what Tom felt when he was here, and you'll learn a tremendous amount. So thank you again, and folks, we look forward to working with you and helping you, and God bless you and all that you do. Thank you.
Cool. Hang on. Sit tight for a second, Tom. We have a couple more. Tom, Alan. I've got two things going here. I got to chat with Tom in the background on a couple of things, and I've got people asking questions on the other side. So anyway, so Carmen's asking, did they live in Hawaii? And I know the answer to that. I'll let you answer that. Your team is where?
My team,
Yeah,
they're all over the state of Hawaii.
there you
I
go.
even have some sprinkled out throughout different parts of there's a few sprinkled out throughout the states, but mostly in Hawaii. And so your classes will be done via the web.
Yeah, you got a little bit of a time thing, which is kind of cool because Hawaii starts later. It's really good for people that are in the continental U.S. where they can get calls done in the evening, which is the beginning of the day for the people in Hawaii. Alan and I are still trying to coordinate our schedule with me in Thailand and him in Hawaii. But having been to Hawaii a number of times, I love the Hawaiian people. They're just so friendly and lovely and loving. So you're going to get that hospitality on the call. You're not going to get a different orientation, shall we say? So I think it's going to be a real plus for you. It'll be gentle love, if you will. And Gary's got Gary's.
This is not call center people. These are great, good-hearted people that you'll be working with. So.
Yeah, I mean, when Tom said to me that the 200 or so people that he met were people that were everyday people just like you and I. That was a real plus. You're not dealing with somebody, as Alan just said, you're not dealing with the call center. Gary had a question. Alan, I don't know if you can see the questions in the on the chat bar, but I don't know if you can see that and whether you want to address that here or you want to do that privately.
I can't see it.
Okay, well, see, we'll take care of you, Gary.
Okay.
Can you see it? In the question.
Oh, yeah. I think we can. I think I got to work with Brian. Brian Johnson.
Of course.
On this, I know he had built something for this payment plan, but the nice thing with the 101 is you'll be able to get it taken care of right away from the bank, so get started right away. So no problem on that. But we can work with you. We'll try to figure something out.
Okay, so the question, since you kind of came out with it a little bit, the question was, is there any kind of a payment plan for the 100 or the 101? And the answer is, because I couldn't hear you that clearly, the answer is there is something apparently in place that one of the gigantic tech people has put together. So Gary, what you want to do is get into the system. Give me your phone number or email address handily. I will pass that on directly to Alan's team, and we'll get you hooked up one way, the other, whatever it is. If you're in the 101, then they'll organize for you a system where the bank's going to pay for it, which is kind of cool. I'm going to put this in the chat to you, Tom, so you can pass it on directly to Alan. Where's 210? Where's area code 210, Gary? So we know what time zone you're in.
Is that Texas?
San Antonio, yeah. Okay, it's San Antonio. Perfect. Okay.
Great place.
Yeah, so it's 8:29 in the evening for Gary right now. See, for now, Gary, we're exactly 12 hours apart, so I know exactly what time it is for people in Central Time when the time changes.
Where's Carmen at?
Yeah, it's a good question. Carmen, where are you at? I'm waiting. Don't you love this when we can just like talk to each other? Because 386. I'm not sure what that area code is. I'm still waiting for Carmen to respond on that. Fort Lauderdale. Is that a new area code from Fort Lauderdale? Where in Fort Lauderdale are you from, Carmen? I used to live in Coral Ridge. My old stomping ground. I miss my home, sort of. So, okay. Any other questions, you guys? Near Powerline, Pompano. Okay, cool. Pompano Beach. Yeah, Tom's up in Boca. So we're all neighbors now, sort of. Neighbors on the globe. Okay, any last questions, you guys? It is breakfast time for me here in Bangkok. Anything else? All right. Well, in that case, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Carmen, I just passed your information on to Alan's team. And yeah, I assume you're from Puerto Rico. Part of the USA, I know. Huge debt problems. I used to live in St. Croix. So I think it's like 40% or 60% of our population is from Puerto Rico. So yeah, we know there's huge debt problems. I was dealing with I mean, my mortgage business dealt with that marketplace. So I'm very much aware of that, which is why it would be a really good thing to get a bigger initiative on the Spanish side. And I know that Alan would love to do that. So I'm glad you're here today. Everybody else, thank you. If you haven't gotten signed up yet, go to totalpreneur.com/101 and make a decision to move forward and get back on track. Alan's going to be part of our Totalpreneur faculty. So he doesn't know it yet, but we're setting it up. So it's that important to me that everybody that's a member of the Institute really does take charge of this. It will make life so much easier. And I'm all about shortcuts. Why work hard? So Alan, thank you very much for being with us today. I really appreciate that. Mahalo to you. Mahalo to you, Tom. Mahalo to all of you guys for being with us. That means thank you in Hawaiian. I got my language organized here.
You got your Hawaiian down, man. That's good.
I tell you, I can go far. If you can say thank you, you can go far anywhere in any country. I got to tell you, I've been living in Thailand for nearly 3 years now. I got like 6 words I can speak, and thank you is one of them. So.
That's great.
So,
thank you. Mahalo to you.
So
all you're doing, I appreciate it.
And from Bangkok, Kap Kum Kap to all of you. And we'll see you soon. Alan, again, thanks. We'll chat privately later about working together. I'm really excited about this. This is going to be awesome for all of us. Tom Beal, thank you so much for being the evangelist here. And frankly, the thank you goes to Tom for getting it all hooked up because this has just been tremendous. So thank you again. And everybody, we'll see you again soon. Take care.
Aloha, everybody. Take care.
Bye. Bye-bye.